Welcome to the Equity Conscious Leader, a new generation equity podcast and YouTube channel where we chat with leaders about tangible system change and strategies to advance and sustain equity work in their organizations. Our conversations dive deep into the 6 dimensions of equity conscious leadership. So how do you lead with transformational system change for diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging? Let's find out on this episode of the Equity Conscious Leader with your host and educational equity leader, Dr. Jag Lathan.
For sure. So as an employer, you offer health benefits. There may be certain things that you're used to covering. Maybe you have a wellness benefit and you cover people's gym passes, or you pay for, psychological therapy. But what happens when you expand that and think about, well, where do your Indigenous employees find healing? Are you going to cover expenses for them to go participate in ceremony? Are you going to help them get what they need in order to be able to do that? Are you going to cover things that might look like them being active that's, not within a gym subscription, but maybe that's spending time on the land. Maybe you're going to help compensate some of their equipment expenses or their travel costs to go travel with powwow and dance for the summer. What are the ways that you can help your employees find healing that, might be more culturally appropriate and applicable to their interests and where they find strength? And that's really just about redefining, what kind of healing that you're in support of, because that's what we hope to achieve through the benefits that we offer.
Yeah.
Making sure that it's not just one size fits all, and the one size is based on, Jim down the road who likes to lift weights on Tuesdays, but, looks more like something that your new Indigenous employees might recommend.
I love that, Alison. And part of it is a lot of times in systems, right, we get stuck. So it's like we do things the same old way and we can't expand from there. But what I hear you saying is the more we're flexible and the more we kind of evaluate and consistently reevaluate our system to see what folks actually need, then we can move toward a more liberated system and liberated society, right? Because when we're so stagnant, this sense of freedom isn't always felt. And so that's a beautiful way to think about even health benefits. How do we make sure that what people actually value and what they need is being illuminated? And I can say, as an educator of 20-something years, we don't always shift and change based on employee needs, but also student and family needs. We do the same thing over and over again. And that's where, the work of equity comes from in terms of interrupting those oppressions, interrupting things that have not particularly been well for people who are in the most need. So I appreciate you sharing that. Do you have any final words or words of wisdom that you would like to share with us around healing and reconciliation?
I think the biggest thing that people worry about when they first talk to me is well, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I make a mistake? What if I say that I care about this and I do it wrong and people don't believe me or they criticize me? And I say, you're gonna, I'll save you the suspense. It's not about world perfection. It's about creating relationships that lead with grace and showing people that you care and learning as you go together and doing your homework so that it's not a permission for complacency, but it's permission to show up in this moment to do what it is that's important to you. And just understanding that, we're all humans having human experiences together and we're going to make mistakes. And that's the reality, but it's not a reason to not try, because not trying is kind of what got us here, and we need to move forward. So, and when you start a business, you're believing in something and you're trying something new and you're putting yourself out there and you're being brave. And so I think that business owners often underestimate how ready they are to do this, because you've already done this. You've already done this big thing, you built somewhere and you created something out of nothing. And so you're definitely qualified to step into this space and innovate in a new way and innovate towards healing and relationship.
Yeah. And I just want to add some thoughts around education and healing. When we educators focus on the needs of our students, consider and center their voices and experiences, we can do some amazing work, right? That takes acknowledging what has happened, reconciling that, and really moving towards healing as an organization, as a system of education for our students. So they know that they are heard, they're valued, and they can move in ways where they feel safe in the community that they live in as well. So I just wanted to make a connection to what you're saying around business owners and how in education that the sentiment is the same. Like, we just need to really think about that and move towards healing and reconciliation for students in our system, for ourselves, right? For educators as well. I'm thinking, how are educators feeling when you look at, for example, test scores, or you look at the outcomes for African American, Indigenous, and Latino students in the United States in particular? Like, we need to reconcile that as educators. Like, what's going on that we have been complacent and allowed failure to thrive for these groups of students. And so healing around that is important for educators. And then also working with our communities to make changes. So that just sparked, that just what you said, that just sparked something for me. So go ahead, Alison.
No, I love that. No, the chair of the Truth and Reconciliation Mission, Honorable Murray St. Clair, has a fairly famous quote that's, education got us into this mess and education will get us out of it. And that's the reality. It's that the harm that was perpetrated in school, seen through this education system, through educating ourselves down, and we're able to move forward. And so there's a tremendous opportunity, for educators, for students, and the community to learn.
Perfect. I appreciate you, Alison. Thank you so much for taking your time to speak with us today, with New Generation Equity today. I value you. I care about you. And I just look forward to hearing about all the wonderful work that you will continue to do in Canada and abroad.
Thank you, Dr. Jag. I really appreciate you and admire the work that you're doing in the world. And I just think you're going to create a lot of change. And I'm so excited to watch it all happen.
All right, to be a part of it. Thank you so much, Alison, for being with us today and sharing the information that you have and your wisdom. As always, New Generation Equity is supporting people to build equity-focused systems.
Thank you, Alison Tedford Seaweed, for being our guest today on the Equity Conscious Leader and for sharing your thoughts, experience, and expertise on how to lead true systems change through a lens of equity. The Equity Conscious Leader is available on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. Please make sure to like, follow, and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all future episodes, building equity-focused systems together.